May 2024 might just be the beginning of a new era for mobile gaming. Before we get to the new month and how much more goodness we're about to have hands on, we've decided to round up a list of 20 of the finest single-player games released so far in 2024 to play offline, mostly for free, on your Android and iOS devices right now. With a 5 out of 5 rating and almost 1 million downloads since just no more than a month ago, we've got over here number 1 Last Sniper. Technically speaking, it's a 18+ rated zombie shooter coming from the same folks who previously came out with Fitness Club Tycoon. Some of you might be familiar with that. Go ahead and give this one a shot if you're craving some good old just zombie blasting. The game is actually offline if desired and super fine in controls. The whole thing is no more than 600 megabytes in total. Coming in at number 2, we have Granny Horror Multiplayer. This might just be an even more detailed and qualified horror game than all of the Calperians combined. Not only it has a great multiplayer, but then a single-player campaign that's playable offline entirely. 10 out of 10, I'm not just talking about the graphics or the music. This game is really well optimized and you better use a microphone to go full potential. It's a free game, of course, and rated at 4.9 out of 5, and the whole thing is no more than 200 megabytes entirely. Coming in at number 3, we have Thief Simulator. Now on mobiles, both the Google and the App Store, and since just a few days ago, it has almost reached 1 million downloads on the Play Store alone. It's the same old PC game, Thief Sim, by Playway Studios, except Sneak and Steal over here is a spin-off of the original PC game with more replay, tons of added missions, and better visual fidelity too. This game is 300 megabytes initially and works with a controller and is playable offline too. Considering there's been over 100 different attempts to bring this thing around by small teams trying to bring the whole experience to mobiles, Poppy Playtime 3 is now on Android from Mob Games itself since last week. And so far, the game's downloaded almost 5 million times. Now this is for those of you who missed it somehow, just want the original thing for free. Poppy Playtime 3, as they said over here, plays offline with a controller. It's the best thing you will play if you are looking for a puzzle horror game, period. Sitting on the Play Store for a good month now, Death Stranding is officially the most realistic, most huge mobile port ever made. Of course, we've got Resident Evil 4 remake, but Death Stranding is an open world game in nature, so it's way bigger in scale. For $20 and a whopping almost 80 gigabytes of storage requirement, you'll be good to go on your iPhone 15 or iPad. The game is not only graphically compromised, it's got touch support, iCloud saving, and even the controller support on the go.
You'll have your very own ship, your very own crew.
Available on the Play Store only since just last month, already downloaded almost 1 million times and rated a 5 out of 5 in there as well. If you missed out on this gem, well, Lethal Company was first released on PCs and now finally ported to Android with downgraded visuals and some minor adjustments as well. It's a first-person horror adventure. Basically, you're the specialist that is hired to clean the moon. The game is 150 megabytes in total and is entirely playable offline. Exastris, we mentioned earlier in the year, almost a month ago, is now on both stores officially released globally, and probably the only downside of this game is it is just a paid game. Or maybe that's not even a downside, since technically speaking, this is by miles the queen of all free and premium role-playing games we've come across for months. Super good visuals, it's got options for everything, works with the control, and the whole thing is no more than 4 gigabytes in total. 10 out of 10, considering it's a super realistic mobile game, it runs just like butter on any mobiles. You could try to play it, but you're never gonna be. Possibly the first of its own kind, it's rated a 5 out of 5 just the same, with less than 10,000 downloads on the Play Store only. If you missed it, we've got over here actually a VR first-person adventure shooting game going by the name Gun Raiders. It's an absolute banger in replay. It has social communication options, over 100 different stages to play through offline or online, and the whole thing is no more than 1 gigabyte entirely. With over 10,000 downloads on both the Google and the App Store and a 2 out of 5 rating. You see, Thunder Raid is playable with Crunchyroll membership, plays offline, no ads, no scam, all legit. It's not our proudest recommendation, of course, since the HUD and the aspect ratio of the game is kind of messy, way messy. However, it's a classic arcade boxing game that was first released on consoles and now on mobiles, which touchscreen controls, although it's better to be played with a controller, and the whole thing is about 1 GB in total. With almost 5 million downloads since just weeks ago, Supermarket Manager Sim is on both the Google and the App Store and comes in 2 different versions. One is an ad-free, the other one with ads. And to be frank, both of them are actually playable offline. In this game, you play as a supermarket manager and just finish store tasks from pretty much top to bottom. Taking orders, fixing bags, managing the shelves, and hopefully getting a bigger place with more advanced machines, so you'd have to work less. Coming from the same developers of the probably S-tier famous Dark Riddle offline action adventures, after years of wait and anticipation, we've got over here finally the company's second and also the third work. However, we've got now here Strange Hill 2. It's all over again, same deal. It's another action adventure console quality port of a PC game that's still in the making actually, but on mobiles it's already out. It offers one of the finest visuals and fine mechanics for an action adventure. It works with a controller, plays offline, and this is legit in-game footage.
New challenges.
Coming from one of the most successful mobile game developers over here, I think this team has actually turned every single genre they actually touched since 2017. We've got over here maybe the most underrated game of the month. It's a action first-person shooter and a zombie survival like the first game in the list, and it's an RPG. It goes by the name Zombie State. Now, this is in-game footage. It actually offers some of the smoothest and top-quality graphics in this old genre. Initially, it's only 300 megabytes in total, it's free, and also it works with a controller. Not only we actually had hands on Farming Sim 2024, but now we have the Grau version of it too, going by Farming Sim Brazil. It's actually one of the finest Farming Sim games we've had hands on ever. Not because just it has decent graphics, but because you can ride horses too. It's an open world game, it comes in both first and third person views, and the rest is pretty much history. You farm, raise, build, and will sell to buy more. Farming Sim Brazil is a free game in nature and takes you no more than 300 megabytes in total. With almost overwhelmingly positive on PCs, consoles are now finally on mobiles. If you missed it, Behind the Frame is a novel-style interactive adventure puzzler. We highly suggest giving this one a shot if you're into Ghibli Studios arts and cartoons, and you just like to try something to relax with alongside some decent music, and of course a lot of emotions involved. This game is about 2 to 3 hours entirely, and it will probably make you cry. You can play this one with Crunchyroll membership for free. Moving on to number 15, we have Small, Rainbow Six Small. I mentioned the game before. It's a top-down, adorable take on Rainbow Six that features roguelike challenges, and I think developers were just trying to add a little bit of goofy personality to the franchise. Believe it or not, this little thing over here is a collaboration between Ubisoft, Netflix itself, trying to retain the core tactical gameplay with new permadeath and just some fresh approach. This game plays offline. If desired, it's about 300 megabytes in total.
Feeling forever lost?
Glitch Games' next puzzle game, Recursion, is now available on both stores and will cost you $4. It's a puzzle first-person point-and-click adventure. Halfway, it's actually a horror thriller that's actually been made with the use of Unreal Engine. It offers original soundtrack on top of a decent hint system for the newcomers. This game's rated a 4.9 out of 5 and has been purchased no more than 1,000 times on the Play Store.
Award-winning strategy of Dune Imperium as never before.
Dune Imperium Digital is another game we'd like to mention. It's available on mobiles, PCs, and even Xbox, meaning it's a Microsoft exclusive. It's a $10 board strategy classic, part deck building, another part management sim game in nature. We haven't played this one yet, but it's playable both online and offline, occasionally letting you play against other players in multiplayer. You might also want to know, it's an exact video game adaptation of the Dune Imperium, the board game. On the other hand, we have Zwei Rama, This thing was released on PCs almost 4 years ago and is to this day overwhelmingly positively rated on Steam. It's been awarded, ported to Switch, and now it's finally sitting on Android for $4. Eventually, it's going to be coming to iOS on May 30. Anyway, Zoeyarama is single-handedly one of the most nostalgic platformers I've personally ever played in my life. It has a ton of 90s references and memes and easily brings back a moment of joy almost around every single corner. With over 1 million downloads and a 4.7 in rating, although been in pre-register state for months, Sky Defense, which was taken down and up for beta tests a few times so far, is now finally out globally on Android and coming to iOS by the end of the month. As you can see, it's a action shooting, almost tower defense game, plays online, offline, and takes you no more than 200 megabytes in total. It's a really good airborne defense sim, and it actually even has a story. Probably award-winning game over here on mobiles. Last but not least, we have the follow-up to an almost 2-year-old logic puzzle game going by the name Please Touch the Artwork. It's a hidden object comedy interactive puzzle game, as developers promising. 100 free now on stores with no ads, offline play, and even new elements. We give this one a 10 out of 10 for replay. It's definitely one of the most underrated games in the past few months. Hope you enjoyed.